Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I got my son's Corvette back at the house. We're going to do a couple more upgrades to it. The last video I did, we installed the improved racing brand oil catch can on the LS3. And today we're going to be putting in the Morimoto fog lamp assemblies that we got from Vet Lights. A couple years ago we did the Morimoto headlights and the tail lights. There's a video on that if you want to check that out. These are the C7 inspired headlights. They have the option of having the sequential turn signals on both of them, the front and the rear. We chose the sequential turn signals in the front. This strip of LEDs light up amber and they go up and down, and you have your daytime running lamp here and this arrow right here. The rear lights we kept OEM, just blink on and off. The sequential didn't look right with just the two lenses. It was just too much. So this is going to be a nice addition to the front of the car. The factory fog lamp lenses aren't as bright, even with bulb upgrades. The lenses are all just abused and yellow and cloudy. And it'll make the front end of the car actually look like it's supposed to be instead of, you know, two different types of light systems. So this is the kit. It's pretty simple. This is going to be a quick video. It's an easy install. You remove the front wheels. You remove the inner fender liner, and then you can access the fog lamps without having to, you know, remove the front fascia or anything. This would have been a good idea to do when I had the whole front of the car ripped apart, but, you know, we're at it now. So here's your lens. It's got like this scalloped design here. It's got two pins that locate up in the fascia, and then there's three screws in the back that hold it in. This is your bulb. It's a sealed unit. It has an adjuster on the back. The light assembly and the trim are left and right specific. You got three screws that hold them on. You can't mix them up. And that's what it's going to look like once it's installed. So we'll go ahead and get the car up in the air and get this on. Okay, well, we got the wheels off the car. I got it up off the ramp. And you're looking at a couple push pins here on the outside of the lip. And you got a couple in here. And this is your air duct. So just this lower panel needs to come off and you can access your fog lamp. You got a couple more underneath by the air dam, one here, and you have one here, and the 10mm nut on that stud. And while you're at it, if you got a few minutes, this is a good time to clean up your wheels and your brakes. I just drove 2,000 miles in 2 days, and the wheels are really dirty. So with the inner fender well pulled out, this is what you're looking at. There's your fog lamp assembly, obviously your bulb, and down here, where there's supposed to be three screws holding it in, we'll go ahead and take that out and get the new one in. What's really nice about this kit is even though this fog lamp was missing two of the screws that hold it on, the kit comes with 12 new screws. You have 3 to hold each light assembly onto the new bezel, and then they give you 3 additional screws for each side to hold it to the fascia. Now these are empty plugs here, and they do have the little nib on top that's going to lock in to the factory harness. What you're going to do after you get the light installed is you're going to figure out which one of these goes on what side. They're only going to light up one way. So before you insert those into the connector, make sure that you know which way they're going to light up. So this is with the bulb unit installed onto the trim panel. You can see the 3 screws that they supplied here. And then you have the 3 holes for the other 3 screws. This is the top of the bezel. And these pins, as you can see, they go right in here. So you'll put this in from the back, line those 2 pins up with that, and then assembly is just the reverse of what you did. I'm going to leave this side apart on my son's car. He's got a broken air scoop and a broken inner fender well. I'm going to order those and leave it apart so I can get those on without having to do everything twice. But I will show you what it looks like when it's installed and the lights are on. All right, well, let's start this up. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That looks real good. And they clearly match. They look like they belong together instead of the factory ones. So the Morimoto fog lamps come with these black plastic sleeves on the end of the connector to protect them. Pull these off and then stick the wires in the back of the factory harness to test the lights to make sure they light up. So the Morimoto lights have a black and a black with a white stripe, and the factory harnesses have black and then another color. So it's black to black and then black with a white stripe to whatever color is on there. So test your lights, make sure they work. Then when you go to slide it in here, make sure the nub lines up with the lock on the factory harness, and make sure that when you pull them out to put them in here, they're oriented properly so that you don't inadvertently flip them. Otherwise, you're going to have a time getting them out. I have special tools to remove wires from connectors. It makes it a lot easier, but it's just easier if you get it right the first time. We've done a lot of upgrades to this car, and I'll tell you what, if you followed this series on my son's C6, it's really incredible. We put a DeWitt radiator in it, and I put an improved racing brand oil cooler in the front of that. It takes up the whole grill. It's bigger than the Z06 one, and I drove this from LA to St. Louis last week, which was what, the middle of July, and it was 117 degrees from Barstow all the way to the middle of Oklahoma, and the water temperature never got over 220. Most of the time it was at 198 to 205 range, and the oil only got to 212, which is a far cry from last year when I drove it across the country. Before I had the oil cooler in, the oil was at 245 the whole time, and it would not have made it. It wouldn't have made it in that heat this year without that oil cooler. So, you know, your radiator, it helps keep your engine cool, but the lower temperature your oil is, the better the radiator is going to function, and it just works in tandem. And I kept it under triple digits, but I drove 90 miles an hour the whole way, and it really, really ran good. And I even had the air conditioning on 74 degrees because I insulated under the car, I heat wrapped the pipes, and I insulated the trans tunnel with Dynamat last year when I did the oil cooler. So big improvements. If you're interested in doing that to your C6, check out those channels or those videos. So thanks for joining. I just got to button this up, put the wheels on it, and it's done. Thanks for watching.